Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. Dear friends, today is the 2nd of June. We have the memorial of Saint Peter and Saint Marcellinus. We also have readings taken from the second letter of Peter, chapter 3, verses from 12 to 18, and the Gospel of Mark, chapter 12, verses from 13 to 17. In our first reading today, Saint Peter the Apostle reminds the faithful to remain steadfast in their faith, not to be deceived by the words of the false prophets and teachers, that they hold fast to the true and authentic Christian faith and truth as had been taught and revealed to them by the apostles. In the Gospel, we hear Jesus telling that he simply said that give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. This means that the denarius and sestertius coins used in the tax payment indeed belonged to man, and since the government decreed it that way, that all the citizens and the other people living in the empire must pay their due to the state and the emperor, then they ought to obey it. And in the same way, if we obey the law of the state and give what the state demands, then we must also obey the Lord and give to him what he has asked from us. It is something that all of us ought to discern carefully and consider whether we have been truly faithful to God or not in our lives. As what St. Peter had reminded the faithful of the need for us to put our faith in God and stay steadfast in our devotion to him. Just like we have examples of courage and faith of two great saints and martyrs, Saint Peter, who was named after Saint Peter the Apostle, and Saint Marcellinus were two renowned martyrs of the Church. Saints Peter and Marcellinus are two Roman martyrs who suffered under the Diocletian persecution about the year 303. Peter was an exorcist and Marcellinus was a priest. Their cultus was so important that after peace was restored to church, Constantine built a basilica in their honor. Their names are mentioned in the canon of the Mass, Eucharistic Prayer 1. My dear brothers and sisters, both of them were known as faithful servants of God who died during the particular harsh persecution of Christians under the rule of Roman Emperor Diocletian. Saint Peter and Saint Marcellinus were faithful to the Lord, and even though there was not much known about them, but their life stories and commitment must have been so powerful and moving for many that their commemoration were widespread and they were respected as faithful servants of God to the very end of their lives. My brothers and sisters, on this day, all of us are called to re-examine our lives and how we have lived them all this while. We have our holy and dedicated predecessors like Saint Marcellinus and Saint Peter to show us their courage and commitment, that they were willing to suffer and die for their faith amidst the tough and challenging persecutions of their faith by the Roman Emperor and the administration. Let us do our best today in our lives to be good servants of God, to be faithful in all things, and at the same time be good citizens of this world, obeying the rules and laws of the land as long as they do not contradict our Christian law and commandments. As we are in the lockdown still, many are suffering from this pandemic of coronavirus. We need to also follow the rules of the government to keep the social distance, wear mask while you go out, and also wash your hands and protect yourself. As you wear mask, say to yourself, I am saving one life, I am saving the other. May the Lord help us to give us the strength needed for us to persevere in faith from now on, following the examples of saints and martyrs, and become inspirations ourselves for our fellow brothers and sisters. May God bless you and bless all of you. Let us all listen to the Lord and follow His advice to give to the world what belongs to the world, and most importantly, give to God what belongs to God. That is our hearts, our whole existence, our whole beings. May God bless us in our every good endeavors. Amen.